to be joined once again with the CEO of HempFusion, Dr. Jason Mitchell. Dr. Mitchell, how are things?
I'm doing really good. How are you, Sean?
Excellent. Obviously, some exciting news that happened earlier this week. HempFusion just announced a definitive agreement to acquire Sagely Enterprises, which is a leader in premium CBD products with distribution in more than 14,000 retailers nationwide. Tell me, how exciting is this for the overall company moving forward?
You know, it was really exciting. We've been, a lot might assume, because of the acquisition of Apothecanna last week, the announcement, and then now Sagely Naturals this week, that somehow we're taking this approach that we just want to go out and bolt on revenue. But what they don't know is that we've been working with these two companies for over 8 months now.
Okay.
And looking at things, and we reviewed multiple companies, because what we're looking for is that based on the strategy that we put together over the last couple of years and started deploying last year, we have a strategy that we know, or we believe, is a winning strategy. But we have to have certain elements of synergy to occur. And in fact, in the beginning of last year, I said, consolidation is inevitable in the business of CBD. This industry cannot support 3,500 brands, but it can support some well-rounded, well-positioned enterprises that have things covered succinctly and that are compliant. And so we built this compliance portfolio. And when we started talking to these companies, they stood out different. Sagely Naturals is the largest woman-founded CBD company. And their words are exactly that they wanted to revolutionize the medicine cabinet so that women could feel their best. And for me, I'm like, wow, we haven't focused on reaching specifically women. And I think that's such an important audience, not only for the vast reasons why CBD is so wonderful, but just the fact that in truth, when looking statistically, 80% of consumer packaged goods shoppers, especially in the area of health and wellness, are women. And the reason is they do their homework, they do their research, they are interested in means of taking care of themselves different. I hate to say it, for us guys, honestly, man, we don't think like that.
I know.
And we should. And they're smarter for sure. They're far more powerful in the way they think. And these founders, Kaylee and Kerrigan, I'm just so inspired by why they did it and what they did. And that the synergy allows us to take this really compliant ingestible program that we have that's going to exceed any requirements by the FDA, and install a complete ingestible program, because they're almost exclusively topical. Same with Apothecanna. So we're going to be able to install an ingestible program in both companies that meets the needs of their consumers and then helps them have an immediate opportunity of expansion. See, it's not just a bolt-on revenue. If we're doing that by Apothecanna and Sagely in the last 10 days, based on 2020 revenue, we just tripled our revenue. Okay, that's exciting for a minute, but what are you going to do now? Right? You still got to grow the enterprises. You got to create value in the marketplace so that shareholders and industry feel that it's a worthy investment. Shareholders need to believe that what we have is a plan. The plan is not to just bolt on revenue.
Will their roles stay the same? Will their roles stay the same with the acquisition?
Oh, we absolutely had employment agreements for them to stay. I wouldn't want to do this without them.
Yeah.
No way, because they've got such an inspired vision. I want to make sure that we fuel that vision and build it. And strategically move. They didn't have the ability or the know-how or the expertise from a regulatory compliance standpoint to build a proper ingestible program. And they knew it. And they were very attracted to that is what we represent.
When you see a lot of the trends that are going on with the acquisitions, with the already existing model, what's an idea demographic-wise as to who your shoppers, who your buyers are online and in person? Like, do you have an idea comparison from male to female?
Well, it's very interesting. We're working with Brightfield Group, and they're really good at breaking down the data. So they have these 3 primary consumers that are really identified as the target audience for products that contain CBD. They call it the stressed out millennial, they call it the insomniac, and they call it the relief seeker, or the pain relief seeker. And when they look at all of this, they start to understand these categories and who these consumers are and what their buying behavior is. Now, I want to be very clear. Those titles are the Brightfield Group's titles, not mine. So I don't sit here and claim that our products do specific things, but very, very much we are focused on, if this is what the consumer's attitude and usage is on why they're doing something and how much they're using it, we want to make sure that we build award-winning products and consumer trusted products.
Yeah.
and that's important because you have to meet their needs. Now, in certain areas, you have to follow certain protocols, like, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, though, when I look at topicals, especially in this, like I look at my wife and amongst her friends and the amount of research, let's say, like, constantly shopping online all the time. This is a huge, huge industry that's barely even scratching the surface.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, literally, we're entering what is called CBD 2.0 right
Yeah,
now.
of course.
And CBD 2.0 is when we grew up. I mean, I jokingly say that it's when we hit puberty,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We're not an adult yet, but we've hit puberty. And I
Yep.
think that there's even some maturing that we have to do beyond here. And that's going to be at the hands of research. That's going to be at the hands of development and really trying to build out the infrastructure of a safe, compliant, properly manufactured product category.
Right.
And that's a really important piece of the puzzle. And right now, what you have is still some remnants of CBD 1.0, which is the mad rush to take a dollar. I mean, there are even founders out there that say, well, I'm going to ride the wave as long as I can take it. And then if it's no longer a fit for me, I'll take my money and go home.
Yeah.
That is not why we're doing it. We are doing this for the long haul. We wouldn't have invested so deeply into regulatory compliance if we weren't preparing ourselves for the future. There'd be no purpose for that.
Right.
And we believe that if we can partner with the right companies like Sagely Naturals, Apothecanna, and be able to expressly move this vision forward, because I will tell you, these acquisition targets, we reviewed, I mean, I can't even tell you how many deals we reviewed. These two stuck out because they're not ready to pack it in yet. They're not ready to cash out. What they're interested in is growing it so that they can see their company become everything they'd hoped it would be.
Right.
And so
an idea that comes to fruition, right?
Oh, without a doubt. And so for me, that's such an inspired move because for me, that's what I want. I want to make sure we build something that when we leave this behind, whoever's hands it is in at that point is going to be something people are truly proud of, that they have a brand that people trust.
That's entrepreneurship at its finest.
100%. We believe in conscious capitalism too. We want to do the right thing for the right people.
Well, when we talk about capitalism, I know we tackled the elephant in the room in our last interview. I know a lot of people were still questioning about the latest earnings, but as we start to see the online platform continue to grow, you are already existing 4,000 retail spaces. With this acquisition, another 14,000. And as you said, just recently acquiring the 100% interest in Apothecanna. So maybe fast forward, what does the business model look like and what should get investors excited, let's say 6 months from now?
So while I can't obviously give future guidance, that's just not what we do, but I will tell you this. The strategy that I've been sharing with everybody all along, if you were to just go in reverse, rewind a little bit from some of the interviews that we've done, some of the things that we've published, look at our prospectus. We told you what we're going to do.
Right.
Now we're doing it in real time. And when I finally get to what I might think is a really reasonable finish line that I can look back and say, now I'm going to tell you what I just did. Because it's like typically writing an essay. We're not deviating from our plan. Our plan was our plan because it made sense. It was logical and it made total sense based on where the industry is heading, not where it's been. We're not looking in a review mirror.
Mm-hmm.
We're taking notice of what's happened, but we're looking at how we can grow forward. We know that more than half of the purchases for products that contain CBD are happening online. So we are quickly migrating that. In our earnings report, we actually shared with people that we went from roughly about 6% of our sales being online in the first quarter 2020 to now 25% in 21.
Yeah.
And why that's important is that we are already migrating to that more online reality. Well, okay, bricks and mortar is still very important. With these acquisitions and with our already current distribution, we're now going to have products in our enterprise on shelves at over 15,000 locations.
Yeah,
I don't know if there is a company in the CBD industry that has broader distribution. I just don't know if that's true. I don't know. I can tell you that we're pretty darn close to probably one of the ones with the most. And so what is that? That's opportunity. Now, how well can we capitalize on that opportunity? Well, that's up to us.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to X out that. So I look forward to that. The strategy looking forward is that we are building an award-winning team and strategy behind everything we said we're going to do. Now, if you remember when we talked about the Apothecanna acquisition, I said M&A remains a very important part of our strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And the acquisition of Apothecanna, while it is our second acquisition, it is not going to be our last. And now here we are 10 days later. And I'm saying to you now, while this is our third acquisition with Sagely Naturals, this will not be our last. But I will tell you, it is not just bolting on revenue. We're not simply playing the old game of, well, if you can't build it, bolt it on. No, we are only bolting on what is not only revenue, but also where we can expand and grow based on what we've already done well. That's a very important piece of this puzzle.
I think it's huge, especially within this industry, doing things the right way. And let's face it, this category, this industry has definitely had some question marks around it for quite some time. But, you know, as we get more sophisticated CEOs, doctors, researchers involved in the benefits from a medical perspective, and especially from a legislative standpoint, and let's face it, the overall maturity of the industry, we learn from these mistakes from the past and it gets better and better. But obviously, job well done as you continue to expand your overall footprint.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. It's our goal to build something that our investors are proud of, our team is proud of, and consumers can trust. And that's where we're headed.
Great work. Keep it up. And thanks for taking the time to connect with us today.
Thank you, Sean.
All right. Thanks, Dr. Mitchell.